Welcome to 24/7 Sports YouTube channel. I'm National Recruiting Editor Brandon Huffman, and in just a moment, we will go out to Kamehameha High School in Honolulu, Hawaii, where the #1 offensive prospect in the state of Hawaii, Malakai Lee, is set to make his college announcement. So who is Malakai Lee? A longtime Talk 247 member. He's a 4-star ranked in the 2026 class, the number 181 overall player, the number 14 offensive tackle in the country, the number 2 overall player in Hawaii, and the top-ranked offensive player. He's already been selected to play in the 2026 Navy All-American Bowl in San Antonio, as well as the 2026 Polynesian Bowl, which will be played at his high school at Kamehameha High School in January in 2026. So before we get to Hawaii in January, we'll go there right now, where we are joined live by Malakai Lee at Kamehameha, where he is joined by a number of folks that are here to celebrate this evening with him. Malakai, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for covering me. I appreciate it.
It sounds like you got a raucous crowd there. I know you got a lot of friends and family. Where exactly are you at in Hawaii right now? And who do you have there with you on the stage? And then who's out there in the crowd?
So I'm up here on my campus of Kamehameha Kapalama. I'm here with my mom and my dad, Amber and Keola. I'm surrounded by family and friends.
Malakai, a couple of years ago, you got your first offer when you were a freshman. And over the years, you've grown into one of the premier offensive linemen in the country. You've taken a number of visits all over the country. You've narrowed it down to 4. But what was the process like going from that very first offer when the first school told you that you could play football at the next level to now when you have so many schools to narrow it down from? What has been the last 3 years been like?
So when I first got my first offer, it hasn't stopped from there. From there, we've just gotten more and more. And, it's been stressful, but I'm grateful for everybody, for all the coaches who have reached out to me, who have offered me. And, this process has been long, but, we're finally here at this moment, and I'm excited for it.
A few months ago, when we were in Hawaii for the Polynesian Bowl, you were announced as the 2026 Polynesian Bowl player ambassador to the Shriners Hospital, which I know was a very important honor for you and a very big honor for you. What was that like when the Polynesian Bowl committee said that they wanted you to represent the 2026 game and be the player ambassador to that hospital?
It was such an honor. Shriners Hospital has taken care of me for every single injury. And, back in my freshman year, I wasn't able to play because of an injury, and Shriners took care of me. So I was super grateful that they even considered me to be a children's ambassador. To this day, I still keep in contact with them. And I'm just grateful for all the opportunities they presented to me. And, I'm just thankful.
Thankfulness is something that you've always said for every one of your visits. You're always showing your gratefulness. And I know there's a lot of people that have been here for you through this process. And I want to give you the opportunity before we get into the decision. I know you want to thank all those special people that have been there along the way.
Yes, sir. So I have a speech with more thanks on it, but I just want to thank everybody that came out today, showed their support for me and my family and my decision. Like I said, it's been a long, hard process, but we're finally here. And, I'm just grateful to every single one of you, each and every one of you, for showing out today and coming out to support me. I'm grateful for all the media broadcasts that have covered me over the past 3 years and just allowing me to get these ratings and be here today.
All right, Malakai. Well, we got folks all over the country that have tuned in to watch where you're going to be playing your college football. This is your opportunity, though, to share where your decision is going to take you. But also before that, I know you do have a speech prepared that you want to share with everybody before you announce your commitment.
Yes, sir. So stand up. First and foremost, I would like to thank my Heavenly Father for his constant love and my Savior Jesus Christ for his atoning sacrifice. All that I have and all that I am comes from them. To my dad, Keola, and my mom, Amber, thank you for your sacrifices, your prayers, your patience, and your constant love. You believed in me before I even believed in myself. And even though it wasn't easy, you guys always found a way to make it possible for me to travel and compete in camps so that I can be right here in this very moment. To my siblings, Messina, Deuce, Toby, Mason, and baby Mila, you've kept me grounded, you've pushed me, you've supported me, and we've laughed and cried together. And you guys remind me of what really matters. I will love you guys always. I'd like to thank my grandmothers Nana and Grandma Lila. Thank you for both being an extra set of parents to me and my siblings. Your love and support mean the world to me. To every coach who has invested time and belief into me, thank you for not just teaching me the game, but for teaching me character, discipline, and how to lead. You've each played a part in helping me grow as a man. To the late Coach Matt Fonga, Coach Brian Derby, Coach Gabe Sewell, Coach Andy Ramos, Coach Sola Soleil, Coach Kael, and all the coaches here at Kamehameha, thank you. To my teammates, past and present, thank you for showing up every day and working hard for this team. It is truly an honor to be a Kamehameha Warrior and to have played with each and every one of you. To teachers, counselors, and staff members here at Kamehameha Schools that have supported me over the years. A special thank you to Uncle Kingsley Ayu and Coach Pacabello, who is watching via the live stream. Thank you for helping me through this entire recruiting process and making today possible. To my extended family and close friends, thank you for cheering me on, praying for me, and standing by me through the highs and lows. Your words of encouragement, your presence at games, and just being there have made a big difference. I truly wouldn't be here without the love and support of the people around me. And finally, to every school and every coach that has recruited me over the years, especially this past year, I cannot express the amount of gratitude I have for each and every one of you. You didn't only recruit me, you recruited my whole family. We were able to travel to places and see things we may never see again. We've met amazing staff members that took such good care of me and my family when we came to visit. Thank you, coaches, for taking the time to call, text, and visit me at school or at home. My family and I are so blessed to have had this opportunity to build relationships with each and every one of you. With that being said, for the next 3 to 4 years, I'll be attending the University of Michigan. Go blue! Go blue, go blue.
There it is. The University of Michigan goes into Hawaii and lands the #1 offensive prospect in the state, a top 247 prospect, an All-American Bowl selection, a Polynesian Bowl selection. Malakai Lee will be heading to Ann Arbor to play at the University of Michigan. Malakai, like you said, this has been a long time. This has been a long process. It's been going on for a number of years. You narrowed it down to 8. You got it down to 6. You narrowed it down to 4. Tonight, you named it Michigan. What was it about the Wolverines that made them the pick?
You know, I think since last year when they started recruiting me after camp, you know, I've just always had a connection with them. You know, and I knew in the back of my head that I always loved Michigan and I loved Ann Arbor. So this official visit really just gave me some clarity on everything. And, you know, I can say with a strong heart that I wanted to go to Michigan.
About when in the process was it that you really started to realize that Michigan was going to be the school? Was it before you took the official visit, or was it on the official visit there that it kind of, you know, sealed the deal for them?
I think it was on the plane ride home. I had a lot of time to think, 8 hours to think, and you know, I kind of just made a decision, and I was like, you know, I want to be able to go play for the Big Blue in the Big House.
Obviously, Coach Moore has got an offensive line background himself. Coach Newsome has been a big part of the recruitment. In fact, he was out there a number of times this offseason. Coach Moore was out there in January. When you had the opportunity to sit down and talk offensive line with Coach Moore, with Coach Newsome, was there something in those conversations that made you realize that was the coach you wanted to play for?
For sure. You know, as it's known, Michigan is O-line university. And I think Sharon Moore being the head coach and Coach Grant Newsome being the offensive line coach, you have 2 O-linemen being able to coach you up. So I definitely looked at that in the terms of development and knowing that I would be in good hands if I went over there.
After you got home from the official visit and you let Coach Moore know that you were going to be a Wolverine, what was his reaction?
Oh man, he was so excited. He was jumping around his office. I had one of his assistants record him just for this day. But he was super excited. I'm so glad that I built the relationship with him and Coach Newsome. And you know, I'm excited to play for them.
How much of a relief is this process, knowing that it went on for so long and you had all these schools all over the country? And it's not an easy flight for you coming from Hawaii to all these schools, but how much of a relief is it to know that you've got your college spot picked, you know where you're going to be playing, and the recruiting process is done?
I'm relieved. You know, taking care of a family of 8 on official visits is not an easy task. So I'm grateful to every school, but you know, I'm relieved that I won't be having to take 8-hour flights for the rest of the summer. But it's like I said, I'm just relieved that it's all over.
Lastly, you're going to get to play your final high school game ever in January at Kamehameha High School. How cool would it be to play in the Polynesian Bowl, a game that I know means so much to you, means so much to the state of Hawaii, means so much to your high school. But for you, you get to play one last game after this season, which I know you're hoping for a state title, but to get that one last game in the Polynesian Bowl before you head to the Big House.
I feel it's a great opportunity for Kamehameha schools that, they even allow us to play the Polynesian Bowl there. And I think for my final game, it's great because, I'm going to be home.
All right, folks. Well, there it is. Malakai Lee is heading to the University of Michigan. Chalk another victory up for Sharon Moore, Grant Newsom, and the Wolverines. Another West Coast player. There's a number of West Coast guys heading to the state of Michigan to play for the Wolverines. Malakai, we'll see you in a couple of months when we're out there for the Polynesian Bowl. Congratulations to you and to your family. Thanks for joining us tonight on this decision, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Go Blue.
All right, well, there you have it. The University of Michigan goes into the 50th state to land the premier offensive prospect on the islands in Malakai Lee. A big win for Sharon Moore, big win for Grant Newsom, beating the University of Georgia, the University of Texas, and the University of Alabama. The other three finalists for Malakai Lee, the top 247 player, is one of the premier offensive tackles in the country in a very, very strong class for offensive linemen. Got a great future, an athletic player, one of the longest wingspans of any offensive tackles in this class. We'll get a chance to see him in San Antonio in January as well, back at his high school in January for the Polynesian Bowl. Thanks for tuning in for us tonight, folks. We got plenty more announcements coming over the next couple of days as the 2026 recruiting class continues to heat up. For my producer, Aaron Grisham, I'm Brandon Huffman. Thanks for watching.